Yes, you are audible.
VYGOS is Vihangam Yoga Global Online Satsang, scheduled every Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Those who would miss to attend the Saturday session can listen to the broadcast of replay on Sunday at 4:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time. The aim of this forum is to give the entire globe an opportunity to learn the ancient science of meditation and benefit from this pious service inspired by Sadguru Sadaval Dev Ji Maharaj, the pioneer of Vihangam Yoga. If you are interested in learning the technique or want to conduct a program at your place, and for any inquiries related to it, please feel free to write to us at info@vihangamyog.org.
Jai Sadgurudev to all. I am Anurag Dev, and I welcome all of you on Vihangam on behalf to this yet another awaited session in continuation to our weekly online satsang series. I congratulate each one of you on board today for taking out some time from your busy schedules and meeting us on this platform. Thank you very much again. We have a very interesting and an enlightening topic today. The topic of meditation and ancient science. Meditation, a practice which has been a part of our culture, which has been in the roots of Indian culture for times unknown. A very ancient and a very powerful technique or a tool gifted by our rishis and maharshis and applicable to even today to everyone in this modern world. Today, this is going to be the topic of our discussion of this particular satsang. So, meditation and ancient science, that's what our topic of the day says. And I'm not just saying ancient, I'm also using the word science with it. So, when we use the word science, the notion that we usually have is that of a very logically explainable phenomenon that can be perceived, practiced, and understood by our intellect and the wisdom of brain. What is meditation? How it is not just an illogical practice where somebody is sitting with eyes closed and in a specific posture. How it is not just that, but a science based upon a conscious wisdom and energy. How is the practice of this ancient science, the practice of Brahmavidya, Vihangam Yoga meditation, how it is so relevant in our practical world today. These are the topics that we are going to discuss, that we are going to listen from our speakers today. I welcome and thank the international speaker panel of the day. It's always a pleasure introducing them to you. We are joined by Vinitaji, Rekhaji, and Tulikaji from USA. Thanks to all of you. And then the prime speaker of the day, Leelaji, she's joining us from Italy. She has been an ardent practitioner of this ancient meditation technique of Vihangam Yoga for, I believe, around 2 decades, 2.5 decades. And we are fortunate to have you among us. What is so special about her is her varied experience. She has spent her life around these topics, trying to find the truth, in search of the truth. She will take us deep into this topic of the day in the later part of the session, being the prime speaker of the day. Leelaji will be joined by uh, during the question and answer session by Shekhar Kishorji from Australia. Shekhar Ji professionally is the head of Quality and Compliance Division for an international vocational education group. And alongside, of course, he has been a very old practitioner of this ancient technique of Vihangam Yoga meditation, and of course, an inspiration to many of us. I welcome both of you. So let's start the session of the day with our traditional Swagat Gan and Mangal Gan. And as our seekers already know, who are listening us across the globe, the questions can be put onto the sido.com/VYGOS, and we will take them as suited in the later part of the Q&A session. So let's get started by welcoming our Sadgurudev to bless this occasion by reciting Swagat Gan followed by Mangal Gan. With Mangal Gan, we immerse ourselves in the thoughts of Sadgurudev and pray to him to eradicate differences and ills among various classes, communities, and we wish for an international, for a universal peace. I will request Vinitaji from USA to recite Swagat Gan and Mangal Gan in the session. Vinitaji, the control to you.
Thank you, Anurag ji. Jai Sadgurudev to everybody. Swagat Gan. आज स्वागत नित्य गुरुवर संत सुभा गम आइए अध्यात्म विद्या दिव्य ज्योति सोमरस बरसाइए दोष दुर्गुण दूर करिके शुद्ध हंस बनाइए भेद गम गति ज्ञान गर्जन शक्ति द्वार हटाइए खुले द्वारा शब्द सागर भक्त जन अनहवाइए जन सदा फल विश्व शिक्षक शान आन बचाइए आज स्वागत नित्य गुरुवर संत सुभा गम आइए बोले सदगुरुदेव की जय मंगल गान विश्व शांति नाम मंगल परम गुरु को ध्याइए वर्ग द्वंद अशांति दूर कर भाव भेद मिटाइए सार्वभौम समष्टि सत्ता ध्यात्म राज बनाइए भेष भाषा भाव जग में ज्ञान पर दर्शाइए समृद्धि सुख शांति धरातल स्वर्ग भूमि बनाइए विश्व शिक्षक जन सदा फल नीति स्वर अपनाइए विश्व शांति नाम मंगल परम गुरु को ध्याइए। बोले सदगुरुदेव की जय। Back to Anurag ji.
Thanks a lot, Vinita ji. Thank you very much for putting forward the soulful words of Swagat Gan and Mangal Gan across us. Thanks a lot. We move to the second segment of the session, wherein this entire Vihangam Yoga community, the seekers of Vihangam Yoga, the disciples of Sadgurudev, all of us have been blessed by Swamiji, by Sadgurudev, with his unique creation of the book called Sarved. This book was written by Sadgurudev himself on his path of spiritual exploration. The source of knowledge in this book was Sadgurudev's own spiritual experience of Brahma Vidya knowledge, his own experiences that he has received live in meditation. So let's hear some relevant compositions from this book. I request and hand over the control to Abhaji from Australia to recite few compositions from this holy scripture. Abhaji.
जय सरोदर एवरीवन. थैंक यू अनुराग जी. स्वरवेद पाठ. झूठ साच कैसे मिले, अंतर भूमि आकाश, प्रवृत्ति भूमि का खेल है, अनुभव खेल आकाश. Truth, untruth, how can they join together? Since there is a huge difference and distance between the earth and the sky, they cannot meet. Therefore, how can the nature, Jad Shakti, human being living on earth, can attain the matter above the nature? Till body, mind, intellect, and speech, etc., the Jad elements are intact. How can one experience the continuously flowing of pervading Chetan entity, which is Niradhar? Maya and its trend is an external flow, which is an illusion. Anything done at the level of speech, intelligence, and body is called parvritti, as per the definition provided by justice. When the power generated by the body, mind, intellect, and the voice is streamed together and is accumulated and flows towards the conscious Parabrahm by following the Sadguru's techniques, then only above the sky, experience of Sadguru Dham and secret appears in front of the seeker. Here in these couplets, the nature inert Bhumi has been called as Bhumi, and the pure pious Sadguru Dham has been termed as Akash. At the level of nature, Pravritti prevails, which uses the sense organs, and at pure Chetan Viraj Dham, the experience is gained by following Sadguru's technique. गुणातीत अवधूत का खेल अनोखी चाल, जीवन मृतक हो पग धरे, धीर अगम गम लाल. When soul in its pure form awakens the Chetan Surati, the Trigun, Sat, Raj, Tam are completely dissolved, and soul in its pure Chetan form rests and enjoys the Paramanand bliss. By the connection of three gunas, Sattva, Raj, Tam, at the base of Prakriti, soul goes through lots of confusion and miseries. When the Prakriti Mandal is exempted from the yogi, then the yogi becomes devoid of three gunas, which is termed as Gunatit. Gunatit Avdhut Yogi means who enjoys the flow of nectar continuously. The conscious action of such Avdhut Yogi differs from the nature. Such yogi is illuminous in its territory at an unimaginable speed. Till soul is associated with Prakriti Mandal, the life is involved in achieving worldly pleasure. When soul comes in its pure form by detaching nature, yogi is alike dead. His flow of nature stops. In other words, all materialistic pleasure, desire ends. Therefore, the yogi who is considered as dead alike internally, is the supreme devotee of Sadguru, the master of spirituality, who receives direct experience of that Parbrahm, who is above the reach of mind, intellect, sensory, and agam. The Parbrahma is not attained without giving up the desire of the materialistic world beyond the sensory body. Therefore, yogi attains the Jivan Mukta state once he has detached himself from the nature and the world. In other words, has attained Asang Avastha. During practice of meditation, a stage comes when soul experiences the absence of body and world. This stage is termed as Jivan Mritak, means dead while alive. In other words, there is an absolute detachment of man, buddhi, and sense. Jivan Mritak stage occurs only in Vihangam yogis, and by following the technique of leaving the nature world base, attains the Parbrahm and its super peacefulness, which is above the Sahaj Shunya. मम सदगुरु आदेश है सत्य करो उपदेश भला बुरा जग मानई संत चले निज देश. Nityanadi Sadguru has commanded me to teach the knowledge of Brahma Vidya meditation technique to everybody. The human being can only achieve the pleasure of attaining Almighty God. Brahma Vidya science of meditation should be initiated to the deserving and inquisitive seekers. Many hurdles do appear when one starts to travel on the true path. Therefore, despite all the obstacles, one should not be deviated of their own spiritual journey blessed by Sadguru. True seekers do not get immersed in the worldly pleasure. Rather, they are inclined to achieve Paramanand by following the Sadguru's instruction and observe their experiences. Brahm Vidya Acharya is the only one who can guide the spirituality. Therefore, seeker can experience the spirituality and total peace only under his guidance. Only Sadguru can make Sadguru. No one can be Sadguru of its own. The preacher of Brahma Vidya spreads and promotes the spiritual meditation under the rigorous law, commandments, discipline of Nityanadi Sadguru. Nityanadi Sadguru has the total control and authority over the God created Jad and Chetan. Those who declare themselves as Guru by means of their own prejudice will lead others towards the darkness and misery. Therefore, spiritual followers should look for Adhyatmavid Purna Sadguru, master of spirituality, and must follow his instructions, which will help in progressing the spiritual journey. Thank you. Over to you, Anuragji.
Thanks, Avaji. Thanks a lot for this wonderful insight from Sarved. A very, very clear description in Sarved on what is meditation, who can be the master of meditation, and who deserves to learn the meditation. Every time we hear Sarved, there is something unique for all of us to learn. Thank you, Avaji. Thanks a lot. Now we move towards the main section of the session, where we will now be joined by the Prime Speaker of the day, Leelaji, and she will be taking us deep into this topic of the day, meditation and ancient science. And I pass on now the control of the session to Leelaji. Leelaji, over to you.
Thank you. Jai Sadgurudev. So, the topic of the day is meditation. It's an ancient technique. So, the art or science also we can call of meditation. Yes, it's very ancient. It's a long tradition. And as already said in the beginning, Maybe in India it's more known than other countries, and known, I mean, as in the name of Dhyan, and maybe in other country given another name according to, I mean, geographical places and cultural places. So I want to fly a little bit over centuries and yugas, speaking a little bit about the history, how it has come through the time to us. And because, so as said, in India, many people know, maybe in foreign country, not all the people know. And sometimes they have picked up just the process of meditating in so many ways, as nowadays it's too much in fashion, but not knowing exactly at what science it belongs. So it consists of the connection between the individual with the divine forces of the universe, we can say, in a general way of understanding. The ancient literature, and it is said, like beginning of the history, we can mention, it is reside in the four Veda. Through the Veda, it has come to us. In the beginning, it was like consisting in an oral tradition given by the saints and sages to the seers, and later on has been put in written form. And this was for who wanted to understand the transcendental world. From many religious traditions, we can see that the art of meditating was known, and as a witness, we have like kind of literature and also paintings showing images of meditating saints in a state of samadhi or transcendence. So even from different culture, we can see that this art was known in many corners of this planet. Sometimes that's why latitude and longitude creates different kind of expressing things, and also the so much variety of schools, lineage of science, of practices, of prayers, rituals. They have made all the differences. In the four Veda, it is said that this science has been practiced since in the four Yuga. Yuga means long period of time. We can say the different age, era, and beginning with the Satya Yuga. So this science was known as a union of individual Atma with the Paramatma, with the Brahman, the cosmic, divine, the Paramatma. In Satya Yuga, which was the most enlightened era, the Maharishi Patanjali with the sutra start just from the beginning point where the question really arises. Chitta vritti nirodha. It means is inviting to quiet the waves of the mind. Why? But now we fly a little bit on the history and then we come back to the point. In Treta Yuga, at the time of the Ramayana, it seems that yoga was performed by one and all. The sage Valmiki was the author of the Ramayana. It said it practiced yoga for 60,000 years. The same evil power of Ravan was deriving from his tapas, the austerity and the deep concentration performed in attaining such a power. King Vishwamitra could create a parallel universe. King Janak was a realized saint. Then we come to the era of Dwapara Yoga. In Dwapara Yoga, Krishna in the form of a Sadguru came to reveal this science to Arjuna, his beloved disciple. While the battle of Kurukshetra was taking place, Krishna was a charioteer of Arjuna. He incarnated this role. And when Arjuna asked him to bring the chariot into the middle of the battlefield, and where he saw he had to fight all his family members, he had to kill all of them, and he was confused. He didn't want. So full of doubts whether he was doing the right thing, Krishna appeared him and revealed his divine form and imparted him the knowledge of the soul and the super soul. That the soul, all the people he saw, he had to fight. All their soul were surviving the battle. Only the bodies were going to die. So he gave the Jnana, Karma, and Bhakti Yoga. The knowledge, the action he had to do, he had to perform. And the Bhakti, because while revealing his divine form, Arjuna was in adoration. After the Kurukshetra battle, we come straight to the Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is the fourth age, and it's the era we are living now. Era of darkness, disintegration of the righteousness. Greed, dishonesty, lust are the marking sign of this era. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a poem was written long ago by Vyasadeva. And it was all seen and predicted from sages and rishi, as now it is happening. The flow of jnana coming from the previous era was hidden and survived during the centuries. In different practice, rituals, meditation, streams of knowledge. In India was coming Gautama Buddha, and he appeared in a royal family with the name of Siddhartha. And at a young age, he left the house and went in search of a spiritual master. Inquiring the best sage he could meet on his route, he could not find what he was expecting, and he started his own lineage. Then came Mahavira, also from a royal family, but he left all his material possession and lived a life of renunciation. From him began the lineage of Jain saints. Beside, in other region of this planet, we had the appearance of Jesus Christ. In Western country, eastern of India, we had Lao Tzu. Then the Middle Age in India was characterized by the influence of Sufism, the advent of the Shankaracharya, with the philosophy of the Advaita Vedanta, the Ramanujacharya, the Ramanandacharya, Madhvacharya, giving birth to the philosophy. For Ramanujacharya gave birth to the philosophy of the Visishtadvaita, and Ramanandacharya and Madhvacharya to Dvaita Vedanta. All of them having a base in the philosophy of the Veda, but they were emphasizing or magnifying part of the practice. The upper caste were attracted mostly to the Jnana Yoga. Study of books, philosophy, understanding of Sanskrit was a must then. For the majority of population, the knowledge was made easier and performable by rituals, chanting of mantras. For some it was Ramakrishna, Radha Krishna. For some it was Sitaram. For some was the worshipping the idol. And in Bengal we had the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. While contemplating his Lord Krishna, he was going into ecstasy. The same time, appearance of Guru Nanak with this Adi Granth, then Sant Kabir, Ravidas. In their poem, The Knowledge Expressed in the Veda, manifest again is whole entireness. In their grant, the truth is reaffirmed without distinction of uppercase, lowercase, without distinction of family origin. I mean, not according to the Dharma where they had taken a birth, strongly proclaiming that there is nothing in life but God at the realization of the divine. And whatever your ground of origin is, coming in this world in a human form, we have all the tools within us to approach a spiritual master and practice meditation. From the Middle Age and the origin of the different math, the knowledge has been inherited according mostly to the math in which one belongs. And even the order of monk they were respecting mostly the order of the mat by marking their body in such a way or dressing in such a way and having the intellectual knowledge of the knowledge, we can say. But the original yoga science, that is the ultimate goal, and which we need to understand, is the reason for our coming and going life after life in this material world. Yoga, they say now, because we have to make a distinction between the yoga, the spiritual yoga, and the one it is spreading all over in the name of yoga. It has gone in Western country and performed even more than in India. It has started the era of yoga schools and university also. But the part which is mostly known includes mostly the bodily section, which consists in asanas, exercises for the body, pranayama, exercise of the prana, the vital air which we breathe in and out, which nourish our body, our material body, our subtle body, our causal body. Well, they are all of great utility, but united with the spiritual yoga, in help of the spiritual yoga. I myself have been entrapped long time in the practice of yoga, and at a certain extent we can say yoga, I mean interest on meditation. But mostly of my sadhana also was consisting in mantra, rituals, tapas, till I met Sadguru Swatantra Devji Maharaj. And he teach me the science of Vihangam Yoga. Sadguru Dev has come in a lineage of Sadguru Sadapal Devji Maharaj, born himself in a family of yogi, rishi. So his ancestors were practicing or quite very deep in the practice. And he could not go through the study of Sanskrit due to his caste of origin, but was very determined to practice, to perform the practice. And with the devotion, he went to perform in a cave. So when the practice, I mean, it's blessed when it's accompanied with devotion. I can say cannot be deprived of devotion, because the urge to know the divine is the energy, is the fuel. Devotion, it comes natural. Yes, also without help of books, of the philosophy, by practice and devotion, one can have the perception, can lead to the experience. And that's the real knowledge. What we say, the real knowledge that can dispel the darkness. So the power of the Guru is that the flow coming from him keeps the darkness into light. Assuming that the practice of meditation, of course, is the most important and essential part, does not mean to say that the study of spiritual literature, scripture, as Veda, Upanishad, Gita, Ramayana, Srimad Bhagavatam, and all the grant written by saints, is of not meaning. It's a very important part of the process of the awakening. Though based on somebody else's experience, but we are talking about Rishi Maharishi. They gave us the concept of what, and so, we can know what we are going to do and why and how. They make us aware of the matter, also if it's an intellectual understanding. They are very important maps. Once we know intellectually, we can make more clear decision of what and how to proceed. If mind is like threatening badly, I know how to minimize the damage. Swami Sadafal Devji Maharaj, after years of tapasya, austerity in a cave, he gave all his experience and realization of the truth in a book called Svarveda, as said in the beginning. He wrote many other books, but Svarveda is a poem of a high spiritual level and content, an excellent map of spiritual teaching about mind, about buddhi, prana, atma, and superatma, about the conscious entity and the unconscious tattva, about eternal time and shade of time in the prakriti. All the journey of the atma, how it comes into the body, and how it leaves the body when the time has come. All the pathway in the process of yoga, how mind, buddhi, and ahankar separate from the soul, so the pure sparkle can perceive the supreme. As the dirty water kept aside, by just waiting, the dirty material, earth, sand will deposit, and the clear water allowed to see what was in. All this is so well described in Svarveda. But if the practice is performed, it can and should be also perceived. And that's the precious key an authentic guru gives to the disciple. Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj called this yoga Vihangam Yoga. And the meaning of Vihangam Yoga, Vihangam is a bird, and exactly as a bird leaves the branches and fly in an open sky, so the practitioner leaves the earthly support, the material support. And the journey, the yatra, consists about perception, sensation in the subtle body and more subtle. So the waves of mind are mind disappear and the energy of the Atma is perceived. So we've gone all through the history, a little bit of the meditation, just to show it's very ancient in centuries, but it is ancient. And why coming back again? Why coming and living nowadays also? Because the meaning is in the fact that is like a desire of the soul. Our individual soul, life after life, tired of the journey, wants to rejoice with the divine, which is made of the same material, if we can call material. of the same tattva, we can say. So as a piece of iron is attracted by a magnet, so the soul from the super soul. For that, it is also called Sahaja Yoga, natural, spontaneous. And the practice is simple if we know how to quiet the mind. That's coming again to the question, was in the Sutra of Maharishi Patanjali. That's very important. The fuel to go through, it lies in the desire, in the urge we feel to take this way back. It's like wants to go back home. To make change in our life, we have to plant this seed. And be careful, it grows not in the samsara direction, but in our inner place. Nowadays, long ago, once we came in India and started the practice of meditation. In the country of from where I was coming, it was like something not understood. We had to fight with the family. Having controversial point to come over. The practice was done mostly on the base of belief, faith. Nowadays, many scientific evidence have been taken seriously into study. Since they have seen that people practicing meditation are free or more resistant to old age, disease, and many regarding the sphere of, wherever the brain is involved, as Alzheimer or many other stress, depression. So more people, and even those who who don't go mostly by faith, but like to have, like a scientific proof. So science is bringing up all the new study in biology, demonstrating that there's so many change happening at the cellular and molecular level of our body by practicing meditation. And this matter, the scientist can acknowledge us much better than how I can do. But was to say that this ancient science is finding nowadays the support of science, also to bring a little bit more confidence on those people who wants to reside mostly on a scientific base. And so anyone can start this practice. Gateway to come in and
a very interesting point that came across when you were saying that you have to fight against a faith or a belief to get into this kind of practice, to get into this new kind of methodology. So basically, I think that's a very valid point that all the seekers across the globe, in fact, me as myself also have felt that once you get into something like this, you are usually taken as illogical or blinded by some kind of faith.
Exactly. Yes.
I can already see that there are so many questions coming up on Slido.com where people are trying to take up this topic, and we have got some 6 to 7 questions already, where people on one hand they are appreciating your the history that you have covered. On the other hand, uh, it's the same problem people also are expressing, that how do we come over this kind of situation. So
yes.
We have a constraint of time, so basically what I will do is the in the question answer session, which we will have 5 minutes later, we will try to cover some of these aspects in a little more detail. So
yes.
I hope that would be all right with you.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So then thanks, Leelaji. So now we will move it was a wonderful explanation. I mean, the history that you detailed out on this topic of meditation.
Forgive me, I'm speaking in English, though it's not my language and my dictionary is quite poor,
Yes,
but anyhow.
no, perfectly understood. Because no, the wonderful explanation actually. You started from as long as we can remember the time itself. So this technique of meditation, this technique of yoga, how ancient it is. Uh, you give a very brief history of I don't think the word ancient is like uh, we can define a time for that. It is just ancient,
Yeah.
as before as we can remember the beginning of time. And
Yes.
your history of Sadhgurudev was also amazing. I mean, it was you threw some light on how Sadhgurudev himself has to overcome these social obstacles. I thank you really.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for that. So I will now take your permission to move towards the next round of next no, item in the session, next round of
Yes. Yes.
session,
Sure.
and then we will come back in the question and answer session to you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. So,
Jai Sadhguru.
yes, Sadhgurudev. And so, seekers and people who are listening us across the globe, that was a wonderful explanation of how ancient this technique is and how it has transformed, and it has affected humanity for such a longer period of time in one form or the other, and across all geographies. I thank Leelaji for that. We move to the next segment of the session, the bhajan segment, where I invite Rekhaji from USA to present us the Vihangam Yoga bhajan, and then we'll go towards the Q&A. Rekhaji, control to you.
Thank you, Anurag Devji, and Jai Shaghudev, everybody. Today's bhajan is about bhakti, so let's hear the bhajan. Bhakti ka marg झीना रे चरणन लवलीना भक्ति का मार्ग झीना रे चरणन लवलीना नहीं अचाह नहीं चाहना नहीं चाह नहीं चाहना चरणन लव लीना रे भक्ति का मार्ग झीना रे चरणन लवलीना साधन केरी रस धारा में साधन केरी रस धारा में रही सुनिश दिन भी रे भक्ति का मार्ग झीना रे चरणन लवलीना भक्ति का मार्ग झीना रे चरणन लवलीना नाम भजन में सुधी बसी रे नाम भजन में सुधी बसी रे जैसी जल मीना रे भक्ति का मार्ग झीना रे चरणन लवलीना संत शरण में देख ले संत शरण में देख ले कुछ विलंब नहीं किन्हारे भक्ति का मार्ग जीना रे चरणन लवलीना। कहे कबीर मत भक्ति का, कहे कबीर मत भक्ति का, परगट कर लिहारे। भक्ति का मार्ग जीना रे चरणन लवलीना। भक्ति का मार्ग जीना रे चरणन लवलीना। Here Sadguru Kabir Sahib says, the path of devotion is very, very narrow. Bhakti is a fine thread of prem or devotional love that binds the soul of a devotee with the lotus feet of the Lord. Bhakti is intense devotion and supreme attachment to God. This happens when a seeker's consciousness always remains in devotion, just like a fish in water. And for this, we all should take the shelter of Lord Sadgurudev. With this, I would like to end here. Boliye Sadgurudev ki jai. Over to you, Anurag Devji.
Thank you very much, Rekhaji. Thank you very much for this wonderful bhajan, Bhakti Ka Marg Jeena Re. And your explanation was very clear that nothing in this path is possible without the guidance, without the energy of Sadgurudev, without Sadguru's energy. We move now towards the most interesting and the most enlightening session of the segment of the entire session, that is the question answer session. And as initially pointed out, in this session, of course, Leela ji will be there, and we will be also joined by Shekhar Kishore ji from Australia. I welcome Shekhar ji on board, and uh, we are already having a good amount of questions on the slido.com, and it's very encouraging to see that people are pre-prepared. The seekers are pre-prepared with their questions, and even when the session is not going out, people are taking time to write these questions and put them in advance. I thank all the seekers for this kind of proactive and a very encouraging response. So, Shekharji, I hope my audio is clear to you.
Yes, it is clear.
Yes, Shekharji, welcome. And Shekharji, so the first question that has come, and basically I'm taking this question uh, as it was left out in the previous session, and a very relevant question for today's topic. The question says, how does meditation help in daily motivation? How it keeps our morale up, this practice of meditation? It's a very straightforward and a simple question, though I would request you to throw some light on this.
Thank you for this opportunity. I think motivation is such a subject that it can be interpreted by so many ways. In a physical realm, people could be motivated by their needs, by their desires, by their goals, by their dreams. Likely, it could be slightly different when you look at the spiritual aspect, where many people would like to see their progression, how they can remain happy, how they can remain calm, how they can remain in control. So it's very it's a subject which cannot be explained in an answer. But coming to the main point is that how does meditation help in daily motivation? I think the important aspect which I would like to highlight is the ancient science of meditation very, very clearly explains to us that the main cause of all the distractions, of all the suffering, of all the negative vibes, or all the disturbance in our life, it is all because of the unstable or a mind which is not within our control. So if a seeker is genuinely seeking to remain and to keep themselves motivated in their day-to-day life, then the first thing, most important thing is to make sure that they have a proper control over their mind, which in the process of doing that, you will have proper control over your thoughts, over your expectations, over your behavior, over your responses to the different situations. So within the realm of the meditation science, I think if you meditate regularly in the prescribed way, then you will start to see that you have that better control. And as you have better control, you will be able to be motivated, find yourself motivated to go after the goals you have set for yourself on a daily basis or in the long term. I think within the constraints of time, I think hopefully this answer gives you a little bit more clarity.
Answer is very, very clear from your side. And so, what is the most important?
Sorry, I'm unable to hear anything.
Yeah, I hope it is audible.
Yes, now I can hear you.
Yes. So the seeker is asking about why controlling a mind is the first step, and why can't we directly, work with the soul? And then there is another question which says, what is the basis of doing the meditation? Is it the senses, or the mind, or something else? So that's where a seeker is trying to find the answers, why we need mind as a first step, and then the soul, and then what is the basis of doing this meditation, whether it is mind or something else. Shekharji.
Yep, it's a beautiful question, and I think it's a very deep question, which has multiple parts in here. I think if you have listened or followed the path of Vihangam Yoga, the founder of Vihangam, Sadhu Zafal Dev Ji Maharaj, very, very clearly explains to us that how when a soul enters this body, it is completely in darkness and covered by the mind, and as a result, whilst the mind is drawing all the energy from the soul and scattering it outwards, and we are unable to realize who we are and what our objective is and what our goals are. So understanding you can only connect with the Lord through your soul directly when you know who you are, when you have understood and you have been able to remove all the obstacles, all the darkness within which you are completely submerged due to the power of this mind. So that's the reason why when you start the practice of Vihangam Yoga meditation, it starts to teach you in the different steps. In the first step, it starts to teach you how to control the mind outwards. Then it starts to teach you how to control the mind inwards. And then it starts to help you completely cleanse all the impurities and all the obstacles which is stopping you from realizing your own inner self. And unless you have achieved that stage where you have realized yourself and moved away from the darkness and seen the light, which in many spiritual languages called this self-enlightenment, once you have achieved that stage, it is only then that you can understand the real meaning of what is Vihangam Yoga, because then your real meditation path starts at the level of your soul. And then you start to progress on the path where you want to directly work with the soul and move towards God. So coming back to the main question, why controlling the mind is a first step? Again, because it is the mind which has completely covered which is completely drawing the energy from our soul, but it has kept it in darkness, and it is dragging us in multiple directions, in multiple thoughts on a daily basis. And until and unless we have a control over that, one of the best example which You would have heard in this satsang as well, is that someone tells you there's a treasure at the bottom of this pond. But if the pond is full of muddy water and you can't, and the water is not still, how can you see what is beneath that? So it's only when you are able to stabilize the water, stabilize the flow, cleanse the water, then only you will be able to see through it what where is the treasure. And in this case, the real treasure or the real source which we are looking for is our soul. Until and unless we have been able to cleanse everything around it, which has clouded us, and we are not able to realize who we are, what our objectives are, what our goals are, what's the purpose of this life. Till then, we cannot even think of working directly with the soul. I hope it answers.
Yes, Shekharji very rightly said. Stabilizing the mind, stabilizing the prerequisites first, and then moving towards the higher goal. That's the right way. That's what our no rishis, maharshis, and our Vedas and scriptures tell. That's how it is guided to us. So. Uh, we have few more questions related to soul and mind, and I would like to thank viewers for this kind of response. Even our next session is on the topic of soul, an eternal entity. So basically there are two we will be talking on the aspects of mind, aspects of soul, and then I think we can dig deeper into this topic and cover some more questions which I can see floating around today. Now, I would like to move towards the conclusion part of the session since we are running a bit short of time. I request Tulikaji from USA to recite the wordings lines of Shanti Path. Over to you, Tulikaji.
Thank you, Anurag ji. Jai Sadgurudev, everybody. Shanti Path. हे प्रभु शांति स्वरूप हो, शांति शांतिमय शांति, शांति शांति जन शांति हो, पूर्ण शांतिमय शांति। हे प्रभु शांति प्रदान कर, दूर हो सर्व अशांति, देव सदा फल शांतिमय, शांति शांति सुख शांति। बोलिए सद्गुरुदेव की जय। Back to you, Anurag ji.
Which was so. With this, we have now moved towards the end of this session, and this session was about the meditation being an ancient science. The next session will be about the soul, an eternal entity, and there we will dig more deeper into this spiritual topic, and we will also take some questions which are pointed towards that direction by our seekers in Slido. At the end of the session, I thank the prime speakers of the day, Leela ji and Shekhar Kishore ji, as well as all the speakers who could join us and who could make this session lively. And I thank all the seekers who have taken out time from their busy schedules and have been a part of this platform. I wish you a healthy life, a prosperous life on behalf of Vihangam Yoga, and I offer my prayer, my salute in the lotus feet of Sadgurudev. Please be tuned at the same time next weekend for our next weekend satsang on soul. And till then, wish you a prosperous life. Jai Sadgurudev to all.